My name is Aluwani, as you correctly said. Surname is Ramashau. I'm the current border Kaya region, which is based in the Eastern Cape. I've been with the IIA for quite some time now. I think it's almost 8 years now with the IIA Border Kaya Committee. Then I'm also working for Department of Community Safety in the Eastern Cape. Yeah, I'm passionate about the profession. That's why I joined in this IIASA, especially in the Eastern Cape, to raise the awareness and also to promote the profession. Thank you. It is a lot of work, and I think firstly one could say that I was picked by one of the members within the region he nominated me to serve in the committee, and I was not ready by that time, but noticed that there is someone who believes in me, in my capacity and all those. I felt that okay, it's about time, let me then raise my hand, and then accepted the nomination, and then yeah, the rest is history. That was in December 2018. Therefore, I was starting in as just an ordinary member, and then within some few years later, therefore I was a deputy governor for almost 3 years. Therefore, from 2024, that's wherein I was then elected as the regional governor for the Border Kaya region. But it's a lot of work. There is much work which is done behind the scene, because as the governor, you have a responsibility to ensure that you service the members or within the region. One of the responsibilities to ensure that there are annual regional conference, then there are also CPD hours events. We've done that, and I must give credit to the committee members who are always, supporting and also the whole members, not necessarily the members, but also the institutions. Your provincial treasury, I can also indicate that there is a good collaboration within the Eastern Cape Provincial Treasury, Office of the Premier, COCTA, to mention but the few. But also what we have noticed that since I take over, there is a lot of interest. People want to know what is IIA is about. And then considering that the Border Kaya region, we cater from Lusikisiki, deep rural areas to the East London, which is more of an urban. You see that there's diverse of members, but we try by all means to service them, not only in the CPD hours. If there are any challenges, we are the ones point of departure in order to assist. Then I think for me, it was just one of those things wherein I'm passionate about promoting IIA, because I've been with the IIA for quite some time. That's wherein I raised my hand. I said, oh, this is about time to ensure that I make impactful, meaningful impact within the region. And I can say that they embrace me very well. They've been supporting me, and we've done a lot in the last 8 years. In our leadership, we managed to get 2 Regional Excellence Awards, and which was one of those things showing that indeed whatever we're doing, people are appreciating. Other than that, there are other areas which I can indicate. The school visits, it's never been done in the past. We decided to say, let's go and try and push. Before Siakula came in, we felt that it's important that let's try and encourage the young ones at the high school. We have a campaign from time to time. We visit the schools to promote and do an awareness. And therefore, we've also moved on to the tertiary institution. Therefore, we are fortunate within the region that we have almost 4 universities wherein we have opportunity to engage the internal auditors and those ones who are still undecided as to which profession they intend to. But overall, it's a nice journey I've been enjoying throughout, but credit to the members within the region for the support. One can say that I'm privileged because during the time when there's still the draft, when there were a situation wherein the global was requesting inputs I was on the ground trying by all means to ensure that the local municipality officials, including the provincial municipalities, or overall all the members within the region, to input. There was some deadline which was given. Therefore, I can safely say that within the border or the Eastern Cape, they contributed towards the new standards, global standards. Before they've been approved, we were on the ground. We had a lot of awareness, a lot of road shows to encourage people to input on the new standards. So far, I've seen that there is some implementation which we can safely say we are not there yet. We are working in partnership with Provincial Treasury. From time to time, they will do QAR, external QAR, but I've seen that for these new standards, we still, it's an ongoing process. We are not there yet, but I'm happy that majority of people who participated during the time when the standards were still in draft, and then as of the 9th of Jan, wherein they've been implemented, we are in the process. I can safely say that there are a lot of workshops, and credit to the national office, wherein they from time to time have a webinar on the GIS or the Global Internal Audit Standards. And what we have done also in collaboration with the structure which we call it Internal Audit Managers Forum within the Eastern Cape, there is a standard item, agenda items, wherein I present to them, and also in terms of the standards specific. Every quarter we'll then pick one domain, if it's domain one on the standards, just to educate and provide more awareness on the implementation. And we are also holding ourselves accountable. There are action registers as to how far are you in terms of domain one, domain two, and then also of benchmarking process is been done. I can safely say within the provincial department and the municipality in the border region, we are on par. It's just that, as you know, standards, there are others where other departments who are ahead of, but we are trying to make sure that we work together to ensure that we implement the standards. And I'm quite sure that in the near future we'll definitely comply. Yeah, I think by the time when we were still in university, indeed there was very few. In fact, internal audit was not necessarily available at the time. Majority of people would then focus on your BCom, specializing in accounting and or pure auditing or external. But I can safely say that by now, I think things have since changed. As I was saying, that there's a COLA program which then assists the graduates or the ones who are still in university on how best can you then work to know how the internal audit works. And also that there was sort of a campaign, bring a child to work. Yes, that is one of the challenge campaign which we have also done it within the Eastern Cape. I think that if I had to go back, how I wish I knew that there is internal audit profession, because you are not only focusing on one area. It's somehow within an organization, you need to know the whole organization. That's the beauty about the profession. You are not only focusing on one item. Therefore, if you are an internal auditor, there are a lot of benefits within the internal audit. And also, since that there are new changes, from time to time, we need to be up to date. We need to be ensure that we continuously learn. And I can safely say to the graduate that that's the profession of the future. My slogan within the internal audit, whenever I have an event, I always say that I'm an internal auditor. I am the future. Therefore, that's one thing which I believe that that's the only profession wherein you can involve. That's wherein you can be an engineer, but then you can also be an auditor. Any profession fits in within the internal audit. There is no organization without internal audit. Therefore, I'm saying to the young graduates, before, not necessarily the graduates, even those ones who are entering the varsity or the college, they must consider internal audit, because there is a lot within the internal audit which one can offer. There are a lot of benefits within the profession. Yeah, there's a lot. By the way, it's the first ever to be hosted in South Africa since the inception in 2009. Therefore, we were just, I think it's another opportunity. This is another level of conference. IIA, I can rate it another level, but it's a combination of all, and I like the slogan, by the way, where we say one IIA, one Africa, one voice. Therefore, for me, the slogan itself shows that we are united. We need to be united. Therefore, we need to network, we need to benchmark. There are a lot of things which have been already, through the conference, which I've learned. And then I'm believing that we're going to go back to our respective departments, organization, and implement. Then not forgetting the other motivational speaker who was, would try to encourage us as auditors to say, even though you don't see the light, you need to make sure, the courage, he was talking about the courage and also resilience. And for me, what I can take home is that we, as the continent, the challenges are more or less the same. Therefore, this was an opportunity for us to sit down and have a solution as to how best can we address the issues. It doesn't matter whether you are from Uganda. I've seen that people from Uganda, Angola, but when we were chatting during the network break, the challenges are the same as the one here in South Africa. Therefore, that was the most important thing. Now we have exchanged the contracts. We'll then try by all means to benchmark and also check their methodology as to how best can we then fit in or customize it to fit into the Eastern Cape. But overall, I'm not only alone here. There are committee members who came through, to support this affair. And I'm quite sure that we'll then have a sort of a debrief as to ensure that we must have an action plan to address challenges and the issues which we have learned here within the IIA conference, which is extraordinary. I can say that this was one of the best conference ever.